All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm making this video for you in case you missed a day of the Empirical Formula Lab. In the lab, we're going to start out with this substance right here. This is zinc metal, okay? So I'll hold it up a little. You need to make 3 to 4 observations of these tiny little pieces, okay? They feel kind of grainy, okay? They're reflective. They're silver color. They're a solid. They're tiny, okay? Again, this is the zinc metal. You need to make observations for it. In here, ladies and gentlemen, is some 9 molar hydrochloric acid, okay? Again, looks a lot like water. Has a very strong odor to it. I'm not going to touch it because it is corrosive. It is obviously a liquid. You can see that it has no color. You can see that it is not very viscous. It moves around like water. So you need to give me some observations of that, ladies and gentlemen. The next thing that we're going to do, I've taken these and I've masked out the weighing dish that you see here, the crucible. I've also masked out the zinc. I'm going to take and put the zinc into the dish that we are going to do the reaction in. Real important to try to get all of the zinc out of the dish. So now we have the zinc inside the dish. And now what we're going to do is we're going to react it with some hydrochloric acid. This will create a single replacement reaction, ladies and gentlemen. The products will be zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. So I'm going to take a full dropper full of hydrochloric acid, and I'm going to squirt it in on there. And you can see the reaction happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you can see some of the smoke coming out of there. I can feel heat being given off. You can see the bubbling going on and things in there. So I'm going to put a couple droppers full in right away, and you're going to see the reaction continuing. You need to make observations in your alternate assignment lab of what you see happening in this dish, okay? Again, I know you cannot smell things, but there's a strong, strong bleach-like odor being given off. Again, I'm not going to touch this because it's highly corrosive. As far as taste, we're not going to taste it, but because of the odor that's given off, you can almost feel it in the back of your throat, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to keep this going until all of that silver metal in there is gone. So I keep adding hydrochloric acid a little bit at a time. Now, I'm not going to show you the next part of the lab, which is what happens when you heat it. But when you heat it, you need to make some observations for it while it is. You don't need to make observations while it's being heated, but you'll need to make observations of the salt, and we will again show you the salt in either pictures, or I'll continue this video later for you. But I need to do some things to this first. So I'm going to put this on a hot plate in a minute. And what's happening right now is the zinc in there is reacting with the hydrochloric acid, and we're producing zinc chloride. The bubbles that you see coming off are hydrogen gas. Once this reaction is done, once all that silver metal is gone from the bottom, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it on a hot plate, and I'm going to start heating it. I'm going to heat it to drive off the solution that is left, which is basically just water and a little bit of unreacted hydrochloric acid. So I'm going to heat that to get that off, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we need all of this metal to react. We need all of it to react with the hydrochloric acid so that we can then take and we can get off the water here, drive it off by heating it, and collect the salt that is created that should be zinc chloride. In your lab, I already have the masses of the dish. I have the masses of the zinc and the dish, and I have the masses of the salt in the dish. The salt is zinc chloride, ladies and gentlemen. So that is what you're going to use at the bottom to go ahead and answer the questions. And also, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch the video from class on the day after we did the lab, showing you how to do some of those calculations and answer some of those questions. Okay? So that's where I'm going to stop the video from now. I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to keep reacting the hydrochloric acid until there is nothing left in there as far as the silver pieces, and then we will start heating it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, almost all of the silver is gone from the bottom of this container. There's just a tiny little bit left. I'm going to add a little bit more hydrochloric acid that will get rid of it. Now, I have also started to turn on my hot plate and heat it. Right now I have it up on 10. So what I want to do is as I'm getting rid of that very last little bit of silver in the bottom that I don't know if you can see or not, maybe a little bit on the video. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating it. So I will let this go for a few minutes. You'll see it eventually start bubbling, not because it is reacting anymore, but because I am heating off and getting rid of all of this liquid. So I'm going to stop the video in a minute again, because you don't need to see the whole heating process. This takes about 20-25 minutes. So I'm not going to make you watch that whole process. At the end, though, I will show you what the salt looks like when we are done with this after we have heated it. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a to be continued. All of the silver is gone at the bottom. I'm going to let this start heating for a while. I'm going to stop talking. I'll let the video roll for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll show you it in the middle of the process and it at the end of the process. So what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're seeing now is that the hydrochloric acid and the zinc have reacted, and we have a salt in there called zinc chloride. And what we're doing is we're boiling off the water. So you can see that the amount of liquid in there has gone down since the last part of our video. You're seeing it bubbling, you're seeing it boiling, you're seeing the water go away. And what we're going to be left with in the end, ladies and gentlemen, is the zinc chloride. We'll let this continue. We'll show you what the zinc chloride looks like when it is all done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what has happened is we have finished up with the heating process. And what we now have is we have a white solid material in the bottom of our dish. Okay, so the liquid is now gone, ladies and gentlemen, and we are left with this white solid material. I'll try to get a little better picture of it here for you. Okay, and it is that white solid crusty material that is the salt that is left over that you have to make your final observations of. Now, again, standing here, there is no odor from it. It is a white, flaky, crusty material. Again, it is a solid, and that is what you need to make your observations of. That is the salt that we are left with after this lab, ladies and gentlemen. So again, if you can make your final observations of that, this is the last of the video that I am going to show you. Everything else that you need to complete the lab is in the alternate assignment for you already. All of your masses are there. I would mass this. I would collect this mass. This is the zinc chloride salt. And if you think about it, the zinc chloride salt should be whatever mass of zinc we had plus the mass of chlorine, making up the total mass in this dish now. Now we mass the dish with the zinc already in it. Now we're massing it with the salt in it. So if you take the mass of the salt and the dish minus the mass of the dish and the zinc, you will be able to find the mass of the chlorine that reacted with the salt to make the zinc chloride. If you have questions, you need to come see me. This lab you should be able to now get finished, get done and turned in. And again, if you need to watch the video of in class the next day after the lab, you can do that to get the information for the kind of post lab that we did. Hope this helps, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day.